everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of our virtual educational series. My name is Jill Allen, and I am the Ambassador Club Director, and I am one of the marketing coordinators for Platte Valley Bank and Companies. I am super excited that you have joined us today for our presentation. It's a topic that is extremely relevant to all of us, I feel, and it is entitled How to Avoid Scams and Identity Theft. And I have a statistic for you. 3.2 million reports were made to the Federal Trade Commission of fraudulent activity in 2019. What were they for? They were top scams, and they were imposter scams were a lot of those. So that's someone pretending to be someone they're not to trick nice people like you. I think that's scary. So that is one reason why we chose this topic today. How do we protect ourselves? And what's the best weapon to prevent crime? And I'll tell you what that is, it's education. And what we want to do today is highlight some of the current scams that are going on throughout our nation and to give you tips how to protect yourself. And I have a great speaker to do that today. And she has been in the banking industry for 30 years now. And she started as a teller, and then she became a personal banker. And now she is the branch manager for our Centennial branch in Scottsbluff. She has lived in the Valley her whole life, and I'm sure many of you know her. And she's done a great job today preparing the materials that we want to present to you. And there are top scams that are currently popular, including the COVID-19 scam and the Medicare scam. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss this presentation. Stay with us, stay tuned. It'll be worth your while. I'm excited to introduce to you Tanya Baum.
Hey Jill, I just want to thank you for that introduction, and I'd like to welcome you all to our third virtual seminar series titled How to Avoid Scams and Identity Theft. One of the best weapons in helping to prevent this crime is education. So that's what our goal is today, to highlight some of the current scams and give you some tips on how to protect yourself. Platte Valley Bank has a long and proud history of securing our customers' information. We use a combination of safeguards. We have routine employee training, we have strict privacy policies, and on our internet banking, we have encryption and fraud detection in place. All associates are given guidelines as to how to safeguard their customers' information. Associates strive to protect the security, confidentiality, and integrity of each of our customers. We want to be your partners in protecting your information so that it does not fall into criminal hands. So back in the day, what did criminals do when they wanted to steal a lot of money? Well, we all remember some famous bank robbers like Bonnie and Clyde, John Dillinger, Pretty Boy Floyd, and we also remember that things did not end up so well for these people. In today's world, we still have bank robberies, but for the most part, financial theft is done through identity theft and scams, which make it a lot easier for the criminals. They don't need to engage in physical violence. They have less risk of being caught. And a lot of times we assist these criminals by just being careless with our own personal information. Financial scams targeting seniors have become so prevalent in today's world, it's now called the crime of the 21st century. So why do scammers target mainly seniors? Well, seniors are thought to have a significant amount of money sitting in their bank accounts. Seniors tend to be more trusting individuals, and sometimes it's just loneliness. They welcome someone to talk to, and scammers prey upon these emotions. Scammers are not always complete strangers. Sometimes it's the person's own adult children, their grandchildren, nieces and nephews. So let's get into some of the current top scams targeting seniors today. Some of these ones I know that you know about and you've heard about, but as many times as we talk about them, I continue to have customers scammed out of their hard-earned money every year. I'm focusing on 7 scams today that I thought would be most relevant to our Ambassador Club members. So let's start by looking at the Medicare scam. You know, every United States citizen or permanent resident age 65 years or older qualifies for Medicare. So that makes it really easy for the scammer to know exactly what health insurance that you have. These scammers especially come out of the woodwork around open enrollment time. The scammer poses as a Medicare representative to give your personal information out to them. What will they do with that personal information? Well, they can file false claims, they can obtain drugs to sell on the black market, and they sell your information to others. I recently read an article about how much a scammer actually makes when they sell a social security number or a bank card number or an account number to someone. It's quite profitable, so you can see the more that they obtain, the higher profit it is to them. So if you get a call from a Medicare representative saying that you need a new card, and in order to get a new card, you need to provide your social security number. Or how about if you hear a friendly voice like mine saying, hello, this is Medicare calling, your insurance is about to be canceled. What would you do? You're going to hang up and you're going to call the number on your card to talk to a true Medicare representative to ask questions regarding the situation. Funeral scams are another scam. There are scammers out there that read the obituaries of complete strangers to take advantage of the grieving widow or widower. They will try to give them money to settle a false debt, to settle a fake debt. The scammer will feed upon your emotions during this time. And with any of these scams, it's not unusual for the scammer to turn mean, rude, or threatening if you're not agreeing to do what they want you to do. You might even hang up and they'll call you back and threaten you even more or scare you. But do hang up and call a family member or a trusted individual for help. You can always stop into Platte Valley Bank and visit with an associate. We will make the proper calls to get to the bottom of it to see if there really is a debt owed. Robocall scams are another scam that is on the rise. If you answer the phone and you hear a recorded message instead of a live person, that's a robocall. We all get those calls that are informational. We definitely have gotten some calls these past couple of months that are political calls. I get calls that are telling me confirming my doctor's appointment or telling me my prescription is ready. Those calls are all perfectly fine. The robocall scam has really gone up since 2017. The pre-recorded robocall is trying to get you to say one thing, and that is the word yes. They might start out by asking questions to prompt you to say yes, like questions like, are you there? What they will do with that yes answer is that they will put charges on credit cards and other things. They'll use that recorded yes voice signature. Also, don't always rely on caller ID. Sometimes scammers can fake the name and the number that's coming across that ID. They can make it look like the Social Security number, the Social Security office is calling you, or that the call is a local call. Be cautious when receiving a robocall. Think how you're answering the telephone. I recently had someone call that I didn't recognize the phone number that was coming across, and they said, hello, is this Tanya? Instead of answering yes, I said, may I ask who's calling? So we just have to kind of think how we're answering those calls if we're unsure of who is calling. Sweepstakes and lottery scams. This scam many of you are familiar with. With this scam, we just have to remember there's no such thing as a free lunch. I got a call a couple of weeks ago that told me that I was the winner of the $6.5 million Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. To get this prize, I only had to do one thing. I had to pay for a $500 long-distance call to collect it. This scam usually asks for some kind of payment to unlock the big prize. Often, seniors will be sent a check that they can deposit into their bank account. So these checks, let me tell you, look very real. Sometimes it's hard for a bank teller or an associate to tell the difference. But do bring those checks if you're getting them in the mail along with a letter saying that you've gotten some prize money. Bring those into and let a bank associate look at those checks. We can make the proper call to the issuing bank to see if it's actually a legitimate check or not. What they are wanting you to do is to deposit this fake check into your bank account. And then during the time that it takes the check to clear, the criminals will want to collect the fees or taxes for that so-called prize money. You send them the money, and in a couple of days, the check bounces. So if you've Western Unioned or sent gift cards off or anything like that, you've lost that money. Another way scammers are getting to people is through their remote check deposits through net banking. This is when the scammer asks you for your net banking ID and your password so that they can deposit a check into your bank account. You might think that that's okay because you're not providing them with your account number or the routing number, and the scammer is telling you that the quickest way for them to get you the money is if you provide your net banking ID and your password. What they will do is they'll take a picture of a fake check, deposit it into your account, and tell you the money's there. You look and the money is there, but then it takes a couple of days for that fake check to come back, and if you've sent off any money, you're out of that money. I recently had a customer who thought that they were talking to a loan company. The fake loan company said the quickest way for them to get the money into their bank account would be for the customer to provide their net banking ID and their password. The customer did that and then looked about 30 minutes later. Yes, the money was in the customer's account, but they got a call from the fake loan company and said that they sent them too much money, that they forgot to withhold the fees for the loan. So they asked the customer to send back the money in the form of gift cards, which the customer did. A couple of days later, that check came back to us. The customer was now stuck with all of any money that they had sent out in the form of gift cards, and they also spent some of that money that was in their account. They were stuck owing the bank money and ended up coming into the bank to do the loan. So really, they were in worse shape than when they had started. So never give out the net banking ID and password as well. The grandparent scam is another scam that I know you've heard about it over and over again. We continue to see people fall for this one. Scammers will place a call to an unsuspecting older person and usually say, "Hi grandma, hi grandpa." When the unsuspecting grandparent guesses the name of who they think it sounds like, the scammer has established their fake identity. Now, I have had customers that have told me that they get the call and they are not grandparents, and the minute that the scammers are told that they're not a grandparent, they get a hang up. This scam normally involves the grandchild being in some sort of trouble, in which they ask the grandparent to Western Union or MoneyGram them the money out to help them out. They will usually beg the grandparent not to tell their parents or anybody else. They don't want to get into bigger trouble and they don't want to worry their parents. Sometimes you even have scammers who pose as law enforcement officials get on the phone and substantiate the fake grandchild's story. They'll tell you that they are a sheriff or a detective, and they do have your grandchild in jail, and yes, they do need the money to bail them out. I'd like to tell you a funny story a personal story about my own brother and sister-in-law who got this call. My sister-in-law got a call saying, "Hey grandma, do you know who this is?" "Yes, is this Brandon?" "Yes, this is Brandon." "So just a second, let me get grandpa on the phone." So my brother got on the phone and they said, "Hey Brandon, what's going on? What's happening?" "Sorry to tell you this, grandpa, I was riding in the car with some of my friends. We got pulled over for speeding. I didn't realize they had drugs in the car. I wasn't a part of that. We all got arrested. We're in jail. I need some money to get me out to clear this all up." So my brother and my sister-in-law were going to go along with the story. But then my brother, knowing that Brandon doesn't go anywhere without Jake, asked, where's Jake at? "Oh, Jake's arrested. He's in jail with me as well." So then my brother and sister-in-law knew something was wrong because they said, "Well, since when do they arrest dogs? Little did the scammers know that Jake was Brandon's dog and was arrested. So it was just kind of funny that the scammers got scammed instead, and immediately they got to hang up. So just be careful if anyone's calling you with those kind of stories. I've had several of my customers this past year fall for the IRS scam. You have someone pretending to be an IRS agent. They inform you that you owe taxes and demand that you pay immediately, or there's going to be a hefty fine or possible jail time. They tell you that they have mailed you out notices, they've emailed you, you've not responded, so they need payment immediately. Or on the other hand, they might tell you you have a tax refund coming your way. Or how about this? How about if they call you and tell you that you have some stimulus money coming your way? They need your bank account. They need the routing number in order to get that stimulus money into your account. Please don't fall for this. The IRS tells us that they will never contact us by telephone to tell us we have a direct deposit coming our way, or they say that they'll never call us to demand money in the form of a telephone call. So if you get one of these calls, definitely hang up and call the IRS agency to ensure you are speaking to a legitimate person. Unfortunately, it did not take scammers very long to come up with a COVID-19 scam. Federal, state, and local officials have put out an alert to be aware of these scams. In some cases, the scammers have claimed to have a dose of the COVID-19 vaccine and want an over-the-phone payment. Or there's been fake charities set up to get donations for families that have been affected by the virus or have lost their income. They have seen scammers offering to sanitize homes and businesses. They want to set up appointments, but in order to do so, they need some form of payment up front. Be aware of any calls that you're getting that are COVID related. The key is if someone is calling you, you're not calling them, do not give the information out. I have had customers call the bank and I want to verify who they are. I'll ask them some personal information. They'll be very reluctant in giving me that information. And I'm glad that they're like that they're reluctant like that. But keep in mind that you're calling us, we're not calling you. We do need some information to validate who you are. So in that case, it's okay to do. What are some common warning signs of identity theft or fraud? Well, be aware if bills are not arriving as you're expecting them to. Possibly someone's getting in your mail, dumpster diving, whatever, to get information to use against you. Or if you're receiving unexpected credit cards or account statements in the mail, stuff you didn't even sign up for, that's probably identity theft. You're receiving denials of credit. You didn't apply for a loan or a credit card, but now you're getting a denial in the mail. That's something to look into. That's probable identity theft. If you're getting calls or purchases that you did not make, you're past due with payments, whatever, yes, definitely make some calls because it's possibly identity theft. If you're seeing incorrect information on your credit reports, or there's addresses that you do not recognize, charges on your financial statements, possibly identity theft and fraud. You can protect yourself from identity theft or fraud by never giving your credit card information out, bank account numbers, social security numbers, Medicare, or any other personal information out over the phone unless you initiated the call. Invest in a shredder. Shred all of your receipts with your credit card numbers, bank account numbers on them. If you're receiving paper statements, definitely shred them on a regular basis or keep them under lock and key. Monitor your bank and credit card statements at least monthly. Sometimes I have customers that call that tell me they've taken their statement and thrown it in a drawer and haven't looked at it for a couple of months. If there's an unauthorized charge on there, then sometimes we are unable to get that charge back for you. So monitor those account statements monthly. Net banking is a great thing. Definitely sign up for net banking. We have customers that look at their accounts on a daily basis. If there's unauthorized charges on their checking accounts, they right away call us, and we can dispute that charge and get it back for you. I think it's good to sign up for the Do Not Call list. The Do Not Call registry accepts numbers from cell phones and landlines. Your number needs to stay out on their registry for at least 31 days. After the 31 days, you should see a significant amount of unsolicited calls stopped. If you, however, do get an unsolicited call, the Do Not Call registry wants you to document the telephone number, what the call was pertaining to, and who it was from, and report it back to the Do Not Call registry so that they can put a stop to that call as well for you. If you think you've been scammed, please don't be afraid or embarrassed to talk about it. Do come into the bank and talk to a personal banker. Any bank associate can help you. We can close down your account numbers that have been affected. If you think any cards have been compromised, definitely come into the bank. We can help you with that. We can reset your PIN numbers, passwords, if you think that they've been compromised. Get a free annual credit report by going to www.annualcreditreport.com. This service has been made available to us to go out and see if there's any unauthorized charges out there. The 3 credit reporting agencies, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, you will be able to get a report from each one of those. And if there is something that you don't recognize on there, you can research it and get it off of your credit report and take care of it. I've even heard since the COVID-19 situation that they are offering free credit reports on a weekly basis now until April of 2021. I probably wouldn't go out there on a weekly basis, but I do encourage you to go out on an annual basis and look at your credit report. I think it's a good idea if you freeze your credit, if you think that your Social Security number has been compromised. If you're at a stage in your life where you own your own home, you have your car, you don't foresee any big ticket purchases in the near future, you have your credit cards all established, your favorite credit cards. Hopefully one of those is Platte Valley Bank's credit cards. But I think it's a good idea to freeze your credit. That way, if someone does get a hold of your Social Security number, they're not going to be able to obtain a credit card, apply for any loans. That's going to be blocked. So if by chance you did have to purchase something big and you'd have a credit report pulled on you, you can unfreeze that credit just as well. It just costs a little fee to do that. So I think it's a great idea to open a separate bank account with a separate debit card and keep a very low balance in that account for any online purchasing or any out-of-town traveling. I do that. I have this separate account where I keep very little in, and then I use it especially around the holidays. I transfer money from my larger account to this account, and then if I have to do anything online, I use that separate debit card, or if we're traveling out of town, I use that separate debit card. It just minimizes your risk and reduces that a lot. Identity theft is not just something that you read about in the paper. Everyone has a chance of becoming a victim. The monetary and emotional cost of repairing your identity can sometimes take years to recover from. These suggestions and precautions that we've talked about might not prevent identity theft from happening to you if someone is really determined to commit the crime, but you can definitely minimize your risk. And there are so many more scams out there, and so much more information out there that you can research. I encourage you to go out on the internet and look at some of these scams and familiarize yourself with those scams so that you're prepared on how you're going to answer the telephone or whatnot. But just know that the associates of Platte Valley Bank are always here for you. You can definitely come into my location. I'm located at 3011 Avenue B at our Centennial branch. I am more than happy to visit with you if you have a concern or a question or anything else that we've talked about here today in this seminar. I'm more than happy to help you. Don't hesitate to give us a call if you have a question or a concern. I just want to say thank you so much for your time today, and I just also want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
This completes part 3 of our virtual educational series. If you'd like to view today's presentation again, it's very easy. Please go to our website, www.pvbank.com, go to the Personal tab, and then go to Ambassador Club. You can not only view today's presentation, but the previous virtual seminars that we have put together for your viewing pleasure. If you'd like to also view this on our Facebook page, the Platte Valley Bank Facebook, and please don't just view this, please share it. This is such important information that is relevant to several of your friends and family members. Just a great idea to share this with them. If you'd like to contact me for more information, you can contact me directly. My personal line is 308-633-9308, or you can also email me atjallen@pvbank.com. Thanks again for joining us today. Thanks for being part of our Ambassador Club and for being great customers for us. We appreciate you so much, and our ultimate goal is for your health and your safety, and we miss you and can't wait to see you again soon. Thank you so much.